This evening, Rosenthal's closure sparks protests in Berbice. Many cases, few convictions. British High Commission calls for Guyana to beef up SOKU's capabilities. Attorney General Russel Williams blames Nandalal for lack of judicial progress in the nation. In the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, government promises to address the crime rate in 2018. And internationally, in Nigeria, Africa's richest man wants to build one of the world's largest oil refineries.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Today is Tuesday, January the 9th, 2018, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. There is anger in the sugar belt today as former sugar workers and supporters staged a protest through the streets of Rosenthal, Berbice. Esther Sobers brings us that story.
This morning, an estimated 900 persons marched through the streets of Rosenthal, Berbice. The group consisted of workers, families, and other supporters who were upset with the government's decision to shutter the Rosenthal sugar estate without concrete plans for the workers. While many have accepted the closing of the village sugar estate, their biggest point of contention is the lack of severance pay promised. Some estimate that the lifelong employees of the Guyana Sugar Corporation are owed well over $1 million. Additionally, the protesters are demanding assistance during this period. They also demand training programs to lead them to alternative employment. The protesters argue that the closing of the estates will cause irreparable damage to the local economy of Rosenthal. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I'm Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. According to Commissioner of Police David Ramnarine, murder cases declined by 18% in 2017. There were 116 reports in 2017 versus 142 in 2016. The police solved 88 of 116. Police are investigating a shooting incident which occurred at a home in Diamond, East Bank, Demerara at around 10:30 last night. According to reports, 27-year-old Stephen Ali told the police that he was in his bedroom when he heard several explosions. Upon checking, he saw several bullet holes in the eastern window of the house. 6 pieces of metal fragments were found in the house, and 2 9mm spent shells were found on the road next to the home. Investigations are ongoing. The British government wants Guyana to take a more active approach regarding the Special Organized Crime Unit. Wendell Jeffrey tells us that in order to do this, the British are reintroducing a familiar face to those following the actions of SOKU.
No, only that they've got too much work on it. And they still, I mean, even in the cases they have, there would be surveillance or some other observation type technical use of evidence gathering taking place. So in terms of cases that they have, but if they're looking at one individual just to try and build a case, they don't have the capacity to do that.
That was financial mentor and advisor to the Special Organized Unit, SOKU, Dr. Sam Stillington. The questions of today's press conference focused mainly on the role of the law enforcement expert and Guyana's ability to fully investigate the criminals. Dr. Stillington worked alongside SOKU from January 2016 to early in 2017. Now he's back and ready to continue where he left off. He says that he knows both the cases that are being investigated and the people who are being investigated.
I've been here before. That I know a lot of the cases. I know the personalities.
The British officials lamented the fact that SOKU is understaffed and lacks the manpower and expertise needed to effectively carry out its mandate. When asked if the British government would be willing to do more, British High Commissioner Anthony Quinn answered,
You know, there is only so much we can do as the UK.
According to Quinn, investigating money laundering is a local matter and the government needs to fully fund the outfit.
ultimately this is a Guyanese organisation, and I think it is beholden on the administration here in Guyana to fund an organisation that it needs to fund.
The High Commissioner said that Dr. Stillington made several recommendations, many of which have not been implemented.
Sam has made recommendations in the past, and in the course of this period here, he will make further recommendations.
Dr. Stillington said that the intention of working on and off with the outfit is to allow SOKU to eventually develop on its own.
Reasons for having this sustainability, 6 weeks every 3 months or every couple of months, allows enough time to give good guidance and allow them then to use their own initiative and to build on that progressively over the next 2.5 years.
Dr. Stillington is being paid by the British government, and he will be here working with SOKU until 2020. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away, we have more news for you after the break. For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Welcome back. This year, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards will develop a National Petroleum Code. It will provide standards to govern the operations and conduct of all stakeholders in the petroleum industry. According to Executive Director of the GNBS, Candel Bostwick, the agency will soon make a proposal to the government for funding. It will also work along with its sister agency in Trinidad and Tobago and other countries which have experience in the petroleum sector. Quick action by the Guyana Fire Service today averted what could have been a major blaze at a local butcher shop. Here's Esther Sobers.
When Channel 2 Headline News visited the scene, the fearless firemen were seen actively trying to seize the fire at Rosenthal Butchery on Church Street. According to senior fire rank present at the scene, the fire service received a call at around 11:46. 3 fire trucks were sent to the scene. Headline News is told that the fire was due to an overheated meat smoker within the building. As the workers looked on at what was occurring, many showed signs of relief that no further damage was caused to the building. Rosenthal Butchery has been in the local market for several years, which is popularly known for selling a variety of local and imported meat. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I'm Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Attorney General Russel Williams is of the belief that the influence of former Attorney General Anil Nandalal is still felt throughout Guyana and the Caribbean. Wendell Jeffrey has more on the issue.
He never disclosed to me that the reason why he put the item on the agenda was at the behest of Mr. Nandalal. But we have emails which he wrote to Mr. Nandalal thanking him and informing him that he will put the matter on the agenda.
The name of the former Attorney General Anin Nandalal was featured frequently yesterday at a press conference called by Legal Affairs Minister and Attorney General Russel Williams. Mr. Williams was making the point that Nandalal seems to still be pulling strings on behalf of the Guyana government in the Caribbean community. This perception has Mr. Williams questioning the behaviors of those who are still taking instruction from Mr. Nandalal.
So we don't know what is the motivation of Mr. Amor, but certainly I don't believe that he's acting in a manner in which that a person who is a custodian of member organizations should. Because as far as I know, in any international organization, the agenda is set by the sitting members, people in government, not people in opposition.
Mr. Williams was speaking of the chairman of the Legal Review Committee for CARICOM, Mr. Gerald Amor.
Having done that, after having decided that, then writes me a letter saying that this item will come up on the agenda without disclosing that he in fact was activated by Mr. Nandalal. I'm not sure that Guyana will be comfortable with such a person remaining in office.
The Attorney General also has some harsh words for opposition PPP. He said that the PPP's rule was brutal to the legal system in Guyana, with them opting not to increase the cadre of senior counsels, and when they did, they left out the lawyers who appeared to be opposed to their government.
The 23 years of PPP rule brutalized the legal system in Guyana. No other senior counsel was appointed, certainly any that appeared to be in opposition. So as a result, people were not in a position to really develop as they should. So we have a problem when it came into office, and you look around. One, you had no senior counsel that we could say that we could look at.
The Legal Affairs Minister also told the press that the PPP government all but stymied the likelihood of Guyanese entering the law profession by refusing to pay for Guyanese to enter the law schools in Trinidad and Jamaica. When asked to address the issue of Mr. Nandalal's claiming that the AG chamber is now failing, Mr. Williams retorted.
I inherited a ministry that has a lot of things to do. It never did anything. We were blacklisted. The last government never got us out. They got us into the black hole, but they never got us out. We got us out. In fact, there's nothing for Mr. Nandalal to show. Mr. Nandalal tried the revision. We had to bring the Commonwealth Secretary had to send Dr. Swigo here, and he died after trying to rectify that review. Mr. Nandalal is finished with his so-called review. Entire acts disappeared from the laws of Guyana. So there's nothing to show that Nandalal accomplished. What did he accomplish? Nothing.
Mr. Basil Williams also took a few shots at touting his own successes.
All the cases that I'm likely to win haven't come up. I've won so many cases in their sizes. There's no other person sitting in this country in this current generation to say that. What we have achieved in this ministry is unprecedented.
Mr. Williams then went back to lambasting his predecessor, Anin Nandalal.
Where when I entered into the office, it was dysfunctional. It was dysfunctional. You didn't know what files were. One of the cases is a $400 million case. Mr. Nandalal gave out to a private lawyer without any record being kept in the ministry. He ran this place like a bookshop.
For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union is unhappy with the treatment they are receiving by the Guyana Sugar Corporation and the government.
SOKU has taken a position, an arm's-length approach to us, though we have indicated time and again that we are willing to work together and so on.
The Assistant General Secretary of the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union, Aslam Singh, expresses the belief that the government has been less than accommodating to the needs of the sugar workers in such a difficult transition period. According to Singh, GAU has sent numerous letters to SOKU and the Ministry of Agriculture, but they receive almost no direct communication.
We've written to the government to get clarification. They haven't responded. Our information is limited to what is reported in the media.
The Guyana Sugar Corporation and the central government had promised to pay severances by the end of 2017. Several days later, the Ministry of Agriculture changed its tune.
According to what is reported in the paper, the Minister Holder said that the government is trying to scrape together the $5 billion. The Ministry of Finance, I think he said, trying to scrape together the $5 billion to offset the severance payment. And he said he's hopeful that the payments would be in this month, but that's no clear indication. It will be in this month.
Yeah, and the language sounds very unsure as well. So yes, I see.
Something that you can say yes, it will be then. What's interesting that Minister Holder, just before Christmas last year, had said, committed in fact, that the payments will be made before the end of this month, and then 2 weeks or a little bit, maybe over 2 weeks. He's now saying that he's not sure. He's hopeful. But there's no clear answers at this point in time.
Minister Holder's statement was completely unacceptable to Singh and the sugar workers. Job or no job, the laid-off workers still must pay their bills.
The workers have their expenses to meet. They have their bills.
Of course, yes.
And they're not earning, so it's placing them in a very precarious situation. Many of them don't have much savings, if any, at all.
In addition to the severance pay, the workers were promised alternative jobs and training. The execution of this program has been less than satisfactory for the 4,000 now unemployed men and women of Rosenthal.
Again, what we've seen in the media is just maybe 30 to 40 workers and more who have been trained in certain skills like catering, I think, and sewing, those kind of skills. But nothing of any major sort of training to retrain workers into other areas where they possibly could find employment.
Other than that, the government has not outlined any clear objective to the union. This makes for a very tense time in the nation's sugar belt. Stick around, we have more news for you after the break.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you have a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating. Welcome back. We now take a look at the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, crime was at the top of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's agenda on Sunday night as he rolled out the government's plans and focus areas for the year 2018. C News reports.
Crime was at the top of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's agenda on Sunday night as he rolled out government's plans and focus areas for the year 2018 in a televised broadcast. Dr. Rowley said, notwithstanding the fact that there is significant work still to be done to bring crime under control, 2017 saw the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service making significant strides towards this end.
Which last year saw 1,064 firearms of all description and 18,000 rounds of ammunition confiscated. Record numbers for the Caribbean, yet we face almost record killings. Additionally, over 12,000 persons were arrested last year. We must and we will win this war on crime.
And with more murders than days for the year thus far, the Prime Minister added winning this war on crime requires work from all corners of the society.
With leadership and effective action all around, from the home to the parliament, from the schoolyard to the police station, we will overcome the violent few who are determined to make hell out of this paradise which we have inherited as our homeland.
And the Prime Minister also touched on rogue elements within the public sector, being sternly warned government will not tolerate corruption. The words of caution came during his first address to the nation last evening. Dr. Rowley said his government intends to beef up its fight against public service corruption in 2018.
We have made significant progress in identifying white-collar criminals and are tracking and holding to account individuals and entities that made fast and loose with public trust and public monies. A few of them are already on their way to the courthouse to answer for their dastardly actions.
And internationally, Nigeria is Africa's top oil producer, yet it's in the middle of a fuel crisis. The missing link, oil refineries. To address this massive disconnect, billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote is building an oil refinery right outside of the capital of Lagos. CNN Money has that story.
Nigeria exports more oil than any other African country. It's also in the middle of a fuel crisis. How is that even possible? It's because Nigeria lacks enough refineries, the crucial step between the crude oil that's pumped out of the ground and the fuel that goes in your gas tank.
You have an oil producer that is importing refined products.
Unfortunately.
It's insane to think that.
It is insane. Nigeria produces between 2.2 and 2.5 million barrels of crude per day, yet is not able to process more than about 100,000 barrels per day.
But right outside Lagos, there's a solution under construction. Africa's richest man is building one of the largest oil refineries in the world.
This is one single largest refinery line in the world, which is 650,000 barrels a day.
Getting to 650,000 barrels of refined fuel won't be easy. It takes a whole complex covering almost 10 square miles.
How is this going to change the playing field in Nigeria?
Well, it is going to change it a great deal. This one we're building will satisfy 100% the needs of Nigeria.
If we meet domestic requirement, domestic demand, we will still have surplus to export, so that we become what we, Nigeria, should be, the hub of petroleum products supply in the region.
Dangote Group also wants to tap another underused resource, Nigerian workers.
We are going to have our own direct employees, probably between 2,000 and 4,000.
Employing thousands and solving a country's fuel crisis won't be cheap, but it will be profitable.
How much is this project costing?
Altogether, we will be able to manage it within less than $12 billion. Probably we will be able to get our investment back within 7 years.
For now, these grand plans still look like this. The refinery won't be completed until the end of 2018, and that means more waiting for Nigerians. Eleni Jakos, CNN, Lagos.
And now for your 7-day weather forecast. Here's the Demerara Harbor Bridge retraction schedule for this week and foreign currency exchange rates for today. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.